Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Before I begin my editorial, let me tell you an honest truth. I have nothing to tell you about Rhea Chakraborty. I have no news to give you about Rhea Chakraborty. What I want to talk to you about today is Assam floods. What I want to talk to you about today is Bihar floods. What I want to talk to you about today are the decisions that certain state governments have taken in the last 5 months when we were on lockdown. Those are the important news that I want to deliver to you today. But the reason I showed this headline to you is because a lot of you all are watching this show purely because of that headline. What I intend to tell you is while all of us were searching for headlines like this, a lot of things were happening in India which concerns you and me. The only way I could get you to watch what I wanted to tell you is by putting a title like that. So my apologies, and if you still don't want to listen to it, you can please disconnect and leave. Let me get right into the show. While a lot of us were busy searching for Sushant Singh case and Rhea Chakraborty, 83.62 lakh people were rendered homeless in Bihar. Almost 27 people lost their lives due to Bihar floods. 112 people lost their lives in Assam. Almost 56 lakhs of people were rendered homeless, and almost 2,80,000 hectares of agricultural land was destroyed in the Assam floods. Our GDP fell to 23.98% while we were busy searching for Sushant Singh and Rhea Chakraborty. China almost entered Ladakh while we were searching for Sushant Singh and Rhea Chakraborty. There were 1 crore 10 lakh people rendered jobless because of the lockdown and the corona while we were searching for Sushant Singh and Rhea Chakraborty. Labor laws in states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab are being amended for 3 years. Laborers will now have to work not for 8 but for 12 hours so that the economy is revived. The core labor rights are being changed in these states, for which International Labour Organization has raised objection, and today the Labour Ministry is actually asking the states to reconsider their decision. All this happened during the lockdown and while we were searching for Sushant Singh and Rhea Chakraborty. Environment impact assessment, the audit body that was made by the government, that was constituted by the government to give audit clearance for factories to be set up, which doesn't hurt the environment. This body has been changed, and now there is no outside body that comes and does audit for a factory, but the factory can have an internal audit body, and the internal audit body can give audit clearance to the factory. This rule was set up during the pandemic, during the lockdown period, while we were searching for Sushant Singh and Rhea Chakraborty. Draft rules of transgenders were changed. Transgenders demanded reservation. They were denied it while the entire country was in lockdown and there was no discussion whatsoever. The transgender says we didn't even know that such a discussion was happening. But the rule was passed. No reservation for transgenders. A review committee on IPC, CRPC, Indian Evidence Act was set up way back in May, and they are going to come out with their revised report on the 27th of September. It was done by a 5-member committee in a 5-member group in 6 months when the entire country was on lockdown. That may have a lot of impact on law and policing in this country. A 15-year-old girl was raped in Bareilly in Uttar Pradesh. She was raped and she was beaten with iron rods. A 14-year-old girl was raped, was killed, her throat was slit, her tongue was slit, her eyes was gouged out in a place called Lakshimpur Kheri in Uttar Pradesh. A teenage girl who was running errands at home went out to fetch water. She disappeared from there. She was found the next day, raped and killed in Uttar Pradesh. A teenage girl left home with 200 rupees and her Aadhaar card to go and apply for scholarship. for her further studies. This girl was never seen again because she was kidnapped and killed in Uttar Pradesh. A girl who was aspiring to go to United States of America for further studies. A girl from a small city in Uttar Pradesh. This girl was molested, and when she tried to run away from her molesters, she got killed. All this happened while we were searching for Sushant Singh and Rhea Chakraborty. At no point am I ever saying that Sushant Singh and Rhea Chakraborty case is not important to us. But what I'm trying to say is there is something called as proportion. There is something called as priority. Every news, every information has certain proportions. Because if you go for just one news, the rest of the country, the rest of the things that happens in the country, we ignore. And then what happens is one fine day, we wake up and we see something that would harm this country, that would harm our nation. And that's precisely why it is important that we prioritize our news, that we give weightages to our news. While justice for Sushant Singh is very important. But what is happening currently is not justice. It has become an entertainment show. What is happening currently is the entire nation is obsessed with one girl who is actually not even accused of murder, but is being tried by a few channels. And the entire nation is focused on that, and the nation has no time for Assam, no time for Bihar, no time for rapes, no time for laws that are being formed, for rules that have been formed. How fair is that? And where would our country go like this? You think about it. Because end of the day, mind you, media has no regulatory body that can change it. The only regulatory body that media has is you, and only you can change it. Only you can change the media because you use the remote and ensure that you see what you want to see. If a news channel is not giving you information, then it is entertaining you. Do not watch a news channel for entertainment. Watch a general entertainment channel to have that fun. News channel is not a reality television show. News channel has to give you information that matters to you, matters to your family, matters to your life, matters to your future, matters to your wallet, matters to your economy, matters to your child's education. If we can't provide you that information, then might as well not view us and waste your time. And that's precisely why my title said what Rhea Chakraborty didn't say. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.